It took me 5 months of trial and error to land my first role as a product designer. But in all honesty, I could have done it in 3 months or less had I followed these steps that I'm going to share with you today. Hi there, if you're new here, my name is Ramesh. I've been a product designer for almost half a decade now, both as an in-house designer and a freelancer. I changed my career from accounting to design without having any previous experience or any bootcamps. And to be honest, I didn't have a step-by-step framework back then when I was starting out design, and so I made a lot of mistakes along the way. I've mentored multiple designers looking to break through into the industry, and successfully have done so. So today, I'm going to share with you my journey and how you can fast-track your success in becoming a product designer. So how I got started was I was studying accounting and finance, and during my time there, I never really liked accounting. It was honestly quite boring. No offense to accountants out there, it is a great skill and a great career, but it just wasn't for me. In my final year, I started looking at what I wanted to do as a career going forward. I felt I had this pressure that was both internal and from my family to start a job as soon as I finished my degree. You know, start my life, earn money, start a family, and so on. So I was starting to feel the pressure, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't like accounting, and I was thinking of doing a master's in computer science, but in all honesty, I already have a massive student debt and I didn't want to add on to that. That's when a friend of mine told me about product design, and he was already working in industry. So he sat me down and we had a long 3-hour conversation, just talking about the industry, whether it was suitable for me or not. One main concern I had was that I'm not really creative, and I come from a background of numbers really. But he completely debunked that myth for me. You don't have to be a creative to join this industry. After a long conversation, I signed up to a Udemy course, and at the time, I think it costed me around £16, and signed up and dived straight into it. The first step I would say is take the leap of faith. Reality is, you won't know if design is suitable for you or not until you try it. So make yourself a promise. Don't think about it too much and just start. I'm so glad I did, because I get to wake up and do what I love, and honestly, it doesn't feel like work anymore. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link in the description for the exact course that I took. Looking back, I'm so glad I started learning the skill first. A lot of bootcamps will teach you to go for the theory first, then the skill, but in all honesty, companies don't hire you just for your knowledge in the field, they hire you for your technical skill to execute high quality designs. Also, learning the technical skill first just showed to me, cool, I've got that out of the way, now I can go ahead and replicate those industry-leading designs. At the time, I was also simultaneously learning the theories. So, whenever I wasn't on my laptop learning the software through the course, I was on YouTube, Medium articles, Instagram, Twitter, now it's called X, just immersing myself in the industry and trying to gain as much knowledge as I can of how product design works. I'll link some YouTube channels in the description for you to follow, but also some specific videos that really impacted me as I was starting out design. So, now that you've learned the software skills and gained some knowledge around the theories of design, it's time to practice. Take the next 2 to 4 weeks training your design muscle by doing these 2 things. So the first thing is to sign up to the daily UI challenge. Every day you get a task via email to design a screen. So I highly recommend you do this every single day for as long as you need. The second thing is to choose a design you like and try to replicate it. So a great habit to get into is to learn from the experts. Focus not only on their UI skills, but how immersive and intuitive their experience is for their target users. Religiously do both of these tasks every single day. People recommend about 30 days. I did it about 2 weeks, but see how it goes for you. Now you should start feeling confident in your ability to design good experiences. Not only good UI, but the experience your users will take. So now it's time to build your portfolio. Your portfolio is not just your CV, it's your passport really. Having a well-crafted portfolio will make you stand out so much. The most important aspect of a portfolio are your case studies. A case study is essentially a project that you've worked on, written out in detail to show recruiters and companies the process you took to solve a specific problem. Now you may be wondering, you don't have any experience because you haven't worked on a project yet. Don't worry, I was on the same boat. You essentially have to create fictional case studies. So you need to identify a problem, solve it, and then present it all in a case study. Choosing a problem is actually much simpler than you think. What I did was I looked at the apps that I was using on a daily basis and see where I could improve it. The goal is to try to find an experience that is either frustrating or not optimal and solve it. Nowadays, we do have AI tools like ChatGPT, so just go on the platform, just ask for it for some imaginary problems for your case studies. Keep in mind, this isn't a numbers game. You only need 2 solid case studies to present in front of recruiters and companies. There's so many different examples of how you can present the case study. Now that I'm in a position where I'm actually recruiting designers, I like a case study that's just simple and straight to the point. Not something that's filled with long texts, but something that flows really well. So spend some time designing a good case study. Now comes the question, where do you actually host your portfolio? A lot of people would say Figma or Notion would do, but I actually disagree with that. I believe your portfolio should be a website, and a good looking one too. I spent a good amount of time polishing the way my website looked and feel, and it led to a point where recruiters were reaching out to me almost on a weekly basis. So take the time to develop a high quality portfolio website. Now, this doesn't mean spending a crazy amount of money hiring a top developer making these crazy animations. No, forget all that. Just make sure it's designed in a very appealing way. I didn't know how to code, and I still don't, to be honest. At the time, I was using Squarespace for my portfolio website, but shortly afterwards, I moved to Framer. Those of you who know me or following me on X knows how much I love Framer. To be honest, if you know how to use Figma, then you know how to use Framer. But let's say time is not your friend and you need to build something quick. I highly recommend to get a Framer template instead. There are so many portfolio templates on the Framer marketplace. Just choose one, add your case studies, and publish your website live. I happen to have some Framer templates, and one of them in particular, Caleb.design, used to be my personal website, and I would get calls booked on my Calendly just purely based off how it looked. If you want to check it out, I'll leave a link to it in the description along with my other Framer templates. Each of our templates come with tutorials to help you make changes, customize it, and launch your website. So now that your portfolio is live, the next thing is to start applying for roles. There are so many platforms out there. I personally recommend LinkedIn. I think it's just more up to date with the roles out there, but also it's a great way to show your new portfolio website. Spend a little time designing your LinkedIn profile. Just try to make it visually appealing. I recommend checking out some other designers in the space, seeing how they've made their profile and just applying it to your own. Now, the number 1 tip and advice to help you fast track your success in landing your first role as a product designer is simply stick to it. A lot of times you will start to doubt yourself, and that's okay, that's completely normal. I used to do that a lot. In fact, I did it so much that I even started considering other careers like marketing. The key here is to not stray away from the path. Give yourself at least 4 months dedicated on becoming a product designer before considering alternatives. A bonus tip I would add here is to simply enjoy the process. I look back at the times when I was a junior designer and it was a lot of fun. I would be up late with my candle on, with music in the background, just jamming away on Figma, and it was just a lot of fun in those early stages of my career. So please, I would say, enjoy it while it lasts. So if you follow these steps, I guarantee you'll land your first role as a product designer in no time. I've helped many people in becoming designers, including some close friends of mine. And so I'll say that if I can do it, you definitely can too. Becoming a designer has completely changed my life, and it can change yours too. It all comes down to just staying focused and disciplined and being consistent in showing up every day. So hopefully I'll see some new designers in the space, and when you do land your first role, let me know on X. I'm always loving to hear some new success stories. That's it for this video. Subscribe for more content, and I'll see you in the next one.